Recording in progress.
Need to do these volume.
You can turn your camera off too, Mark.
Turn my camera.
Oh,
Got it.
you got it. Okay, thank
Oh.
you.
Okay. Betty Piper?
Ready.
Okay, we will call to order the regular HARC meeting of September 20th at 5:31 PM at Rebecca Hall, combination hybrid meeting, 113 West Columbia.
Pull your mic a little bit closer.
Yeah, so then, just a reminder before we have the call of order, our purpose is to, for anybody listening, is to preserve, maintain, and enhance the historic character, scale, architectural integrity, and cultural resources of the town and the Telluride Historic Landmarks. From staff, we have Piper, Jonna, Erica, and Ally. From town council. Don't see anybody else in the audience, and we'll do our roll call. Kiernan,
Kieran Lannon.
Matt Lee.
Stacy Lake.
Mark Champa.
Andrew Williamson.
Okay, thank you all for coming. And our first order of business is the election of chair, vice chair, and second vice chair, 3 officers. Do we have any?
I move to reappoint Mark Shamba as chair.
I second.
Need to vote?
Kieran, yes.
Matt, yes.
Stacy, yes.
Bob, yes.
Andrew, yes.
Thank you, thank you. So we need a motion for vice chair and then second vice chair.
I'll make a motion to nominate Stacy as vice chair.
I'll second that. Kiernan,
Kieran, yes.
Matt, yes.
Mark, yes.
Bob, yes.
Andrew, yes.
And then for the second vice chair, we need a motion.
I'll make a motion to nominate Kieran as second vice chair.
I'll second that. Let's vote, Matt.
Matt, yes.
Too late.
Stacy, yes.
Mark, yes.
It's not a big deal. Andrew, yes.
All right, now that well, thank you very much, and we'll try to earn the stripes. Approval of meeting minutes for our regular meeting of August 16th. Do we have a motion?
I move to approve the HARC meeting minutes dated August 16th, 2023 as stated.
Kieran, second. Kieran, yes.
Matt, yes.
Stacy, yes.
Mark, yes.
Bob.
Okay, staff announcements.
Good evening, everybody. Just one announcement, which is that our design guidelines committee is going to start meeting tomorrow. And that is Matt, Mark, and Bob. We will meet tomorrow and go over the rehabilitation standards and set a meeting schedule for future meetings. But I know Mark is excited to get going on the revisions, and hopefully we can make short work of it.
I already did my homework, and I only have one word that you can sleep, Matt and Bob, and put under your pillow tonight.
Great.
The word is subordinate. Think about it.
Okay,
Great.
Okay,
we're meeting in the green room, correct?
Yes.
okay, thanks, Donna.
And I have the public
Okay.
hearing process slide up and ready if you'd like to go over that.
Okay, yeah, we'll go through that. Okay, just to remind everybody about our public hearing process. The HARC Show will introduce the project. Staff will then give a presentation and answer HARC's questions. The applicant will give a presentation. We ask for 30 minutes or less, and they will answer HARC's questions. Public will then be invited to speak, to make comments on the specific projects, 3 minutes, and a reminder, there's no dialogue allowed between the public speaking and the applicant or the board members. The applicant then can address any applicants in a rebuttal, and the public comment then ends, and the applicant may, there's the rebuttal, and the HARC members then deliberate and then have a vote. Okay. Any public comment on non-agenda items? Some public on here. 2. And electronically raise your hand if you want to make a comment on non-agenda items, and seeing none. Let's go to our first public hearing. The Phoenix Market Employee Housing and Hotel Accommodations, its consideration of a final large-scale application for addition to an existing building in the historic commercial zone district, which will increase the structure's floor area by more than 25% and result in a building that contains more than 5,000 square foot of floor area pursuant to land use code 7203A2A2. It's block 3, lot 29, 221 West Colorado is the address. It's in the historic commercial zone district. Owner, New Sheridan Restaurants, LLC. Welcome. And applicant, Sherry Harvey. Staff member, Jonna Wenzel.
Thank you, Chairperson Shamba. This is the final large-scale application for the Phoenix Market addition at 221 West Colorado Avenue. HARC approved the preliminary application on June 21st. So I will just remind everyone, the context of this site is on the north side of Main Street, adjacent to the new Sheridan Hotel. The building under review is rated contributing. This block of Colorado Avenue contains the highest concentration of contributing structures and local landmarks on Main Street, which include the courthouse, the new Sheridan Hotel and Bar, and the Nugget building on the east corner. This building, the Phoenix Market, as it's known, is rated contributing as well. It was built around 1893 as a small grocery store and was expanded a couple of years later as a meat market. The last addition to the rear seems to have been built before 1922. We have known this building more recently as the Steaming Bean, the Phoenix Bean, and now it's the Telluride Angler and Telluride Outside Shop. For the purposes of this project, it's called the Phoenix Market. The proposal is to construct a rear addition to the historic building that will contain 3 hotel units, 2 affordable housing units, and 2 on-site covered parking spaces. You may recall that a PUD for this project was approved by P&Z in September of last year. It allows for a maximum height of 39.5 feet, a reduction of the required parking for the hotel units, and allows the addition to cross the property line that it shares with the new Sheridan Hotel in the area of the elevator and the covered entrance from Colorado Avenue. And in exchange for these variations, the benefits provided are the 3 hotel units, the 2 affordable housing units, and the on-site parking for both of those units, and the preservation of the historic roof form of the 1-story Phoenix Market building. You might recall back in June, we held a site walk at the property and went across the street and could tell from there that the new rear addition will be minimally visible from Colorado Avenue. I'll just remind you of the conditions of approval of the preliminary application. Condition number 1 was to indicate any rooftop mechanical equipment on the roof plan and ensure it complies with the maximum height. This has been complied with. Number 2 is to increase the stepping down to the alley at the 2nd level, which has also been complied with. I'll share in the next slide. And finally, number 3 was to indicate how snow shedding will be managed consistent with the guidelines, and that has been provided where required. Regarding the rear addition and the stepping down to the alley, you may recall in the previous design. Half of the addition at the alley was stepped down, but the other portion nearest the hotel was kind of 2-3 stories vertical up from the alley. That has been revised so that now the second level above the parking area is now stepped down from the 3rd story above it. And staff finds that this complies with that condition. The location of the utilities has changed since the packet was posted. The applicants provided new images in a separate sheet that I emailed to everyone on Monday, I believe it was. And this slide shows the new location, which is a screened utility panel along the alley, which is land use code compliant, and we determined with the applicant probably the best location to put that utility panel. So staff finds that the proposal is substantially compliant with the land use code, the PUD, and the design guidelines, and recommends approval of the final application. Staff did not have any additional conditions, but HARC is welcome to add conditions if you see fit. And with that, I'm happy to answer any questions.
Any questions? It's fresh in our mind, so thank you. And hear from the applicant, Sherry. Right.
I put on your desk 2 handouts, on top of the one Jonna gave you the other day. We had many meetings on site with Bird from SMPA and Scott, the fire marshal, and Drew, the electrical inspector, and Drew, the electrical engineer from Bighorn in Grand Junction. I wanted to put the utilities on the back of the building because I think they're ugly, but we can't impede on the parking space. And the other ideas that I had were too far from the alley, and you can't go underneath the structure with the electrical. So this is the best I can come up with as a location for the electrical meter. I have shown a corrugated metal panel in the back. Bird talked about some covering on the front, but I haven't researched if that's possible. And I did want to put it as far away from the entrance or the back entrance as possible, because sometimes if the electrical panel is unbalanced, there's like a buzzing noise and it's not really the nicest thing to walk past. So here we are with the utilities in the alley. And then the other thing we focused on was the heat pumps. On the second page I handed you. In the packet, I drew them tighter together, and that's what the mechanical engineer also from Bighorn recommended. But then he sent me these specs, and these specs show them slightly further apart. So either way, we're good. We can manage the height of the roof with the clearances in between the units and the head height of that stairwell there. So that's what we've been working on since our last meeting. And I think I made some minor adjustments to the brick cornice to simplify it. So it doesn't mimic exactly. There's 2 rows of bricks on the arches of the Sheridan, and I wanted this to be a simpler version of that. And obviously the reduction on the third level to the alley. So that's really it. If you have any questions, I'd love to have a discussion before you close off for board deliberations and talk about something.
Questions? I just have one. Could you put 2.3 up there, the drawing that shows that elevation? First of all, I commend the applicant for making all the request changes. My question that I will ask just one last time on A2.3 is on this drawing. I don't remember seeing it before. You included the Bell building just showing relative setbacks in the alley.
Mm-hmm.
And my question is, Sherry, and I didn't, and our drawings are reduced, so I couldn't measure the scale, but how much is that setback on the 3rd floor now? Is
7
it
feet.
7 feet? 3rd floor?
Yeah, on our building, 7 feet.
Okay.
We've reduced one of the, I mean, unfortunately, it is the top level suite, which has the nicest rooms, but we reduced the size of the bathroom and the main bedroom to step that further
Figured it
back.
out. Okay,
I mean, it's such a tight, tiny project going in. When you stand there and look on site at what's left over after you take 9 feet off of the Sheridan and 6 feet from the back of the beam. I think we've accomplished a lot in a little tiny space.
okay. Can you put that back up there? That 7 feet, is that from the plane of the second floor, the furthest towards the alley of that second floor? It looks like it's only like a 2 foot or 3 foot bump, you know, as you come in from, oh, no, it's, okay, never mind.
That's 7 feet between the blue
All right,
lot line.
Thank you.
And the rear.
Good. I don't have any other questions.
Sherry, do you have a section or that cuts through from Colorado to the alley that shows these new heat pump units on the roof? I just have a concern that they're gonna be, they're visible from the other side of the street.
Oh. Well, I didn't have this drawing updated, but I did. So it's the same height as I mean, if there's a way to shield these so that you don't see that white unit. I'm open to ideas on that.
Oh,
But once again, like on that sheet, it shows you that there are clearances I need to keep.
Mhm.
So if there's something that will help disguise it, so it doesn't. Let's look at that big white ugly.
Anything you want to ask her, Bob, before we lose them?
No, that
Discussion?
answers my question.
Oh, okay.
I will-
But
I
yes,
wanna
it would,
discuss it
the
among
top of it would
ourselves.
be
Okay.
visible,
Okay. Let's hear from the public and seeing none in the building. I'm looking at the audience. Please electronically raise your hand. Would like to speak on this project? Nobody? We'll start deliberations. Any comments on?
Yeah.
Yes.
I'd just like to follow up on that, I'd like to add a condition, MS 19B, the introduction of screen from view rooftop appurtenances such as mechanical equipment and antennas.
Provide a screen.
Just by their screen.
Wouldn't be a problem. Okay. Any other comments?
It seems pretty simple. It seems like the applicants followed our request and it's pretty easy approval.
You've got the stage, you want to do it?
Anybody else?
I can do it and then I can add this condition if you want.
Okay.
Okay. I move to approve the final large-scale application for the addition to an existing building at 221 West Colorado Avenue, Block 3, Lot 29, Town of Telluride, based on the findings in the staff memo dated September 20th, 2023, with the following conditions as determined by HARC. Condition number 1, for MS 19V, screen from view rooftop appurtenances such as mechanical equipment.
Okay.
Rest of it.
Give a second.
This motion is based on evidence and testimony provided at a public hearing held on September 20th, 2023, with notice of such hearings provided as required by the Telluride Land Use Code. Revised plans incorporating the conditions of approval shall be submitted within 60 days of this approval. This approval becomes null and void unless otherwise indicated. The revised drawings submitted for a certificate of appropriateness must be a complete set with any changes to the drawings clouded and labeled. Any changes to the drawings beyond the conditions of approval may result in more than one submittal being required.
Matt will second.
Okay, thank you.
Kiernan, yes.
Matt, yes.
Stacy, yes.
Mark, yes.
Bob, yes.
Unanimous.
Thanks,
Good
guys.
luck.
You guys, appreciate your help on this project.
When are you starting construction next spring?
Yeah, perhaps in April.
Great. Okay, good luck.
Good drawing, Terry.
Okay, the next and last item of this evening in the public hearings is 577 West Columbia, continuation from July 19th ARC meeting. It's the consideration of a small scale new construction in a residential zone district, which will contain more than 2,500 square foot floor per 7203B1 and A1 and incidents in substantial scale demolition of a non-designated structure per 7203B1C2 and an insubstantial scale demolition of a non-designated structure per 7203B1C2. Its legal description is Lot AR, Block 10, West Tyrone Edition at 160 North Davis, Residential Zone District. Owner is 577 Telluride LLC. Applicant Stephanie Halfin and Christopher Parr. Staff member Erica Jensen. Erica?
Great, okay. So this is the final small scale review at 160 North Davis. This application was continued from the July HARC meeting. And we received public comment from Diane and Ray McClure. Did everyone have time to review that? Great.
Yes.
So just a reminder, this project is located in the residential zone district in east-west treatment area, as well as the River Park Corridor overlay. It is located outside the historic district, but it is directly adjacent and has many rated structures in the vicinity. So the proposal is for the demolition of 2 non-designated structures, new construction of a primary structure. In July, this project was continued with 15 conditions. There are now 3 conditions. So one of the main concerns with this project was the front setback. Condition 2 was to revise the front setback to be at least 10.7 feet. The front setback is now 10 feet 8 inches, which is the average of the front setbacks in the neighborhood. And you can also see from this slide that condition 9 was met and the pathway is now perpendicular to the house. One of the other main issues was mass and scale. There were concerns around the width of the front facade and how it did not relate to historic proportions. While the width of the front facade stayed about the same, the changes to the window pattern, pathway, roof design, pitches, and removal of the cantilevering element over the alley helped to reduce the perceived width and help the front facade better relate to historic proportions. The retaining wall was also changed as the pathway changed direction, which helps with pedestrian scale. There were also concerns with the mass of the north elevation and how it did not step down to the alley, as well as concerns over the complicated intersecting roof forms on the north facade. The north facade and roof have been revised to contain a simple gable form with 1 shed roof dormer. And the shed roof on the first level was extended to better step down to the alley, and the cantilevered second level was removed. Overall, the forms have been simplified to be more in scale and better relate to traditional forms and elements seen in Telluride. As a reminder, Cornet Creek flows directly through this lot. So condition 10 was to move the hot tub, which has been moved onto the patio, and condition 11 was to reduce the size of the second level deck to not extend beyond the footprint of the patio. Both these conditions revolved around protecting and respecting the wetlands in Cornet Creek. While the second level deck was reduced in size from 19 feet to 14 feet, the patio increased from 11 feet to 17.5 feet. So this was not really the intent of the condition. So the condition has been revised to reduce the size of the first level patio. So listed are the 3 conditions. Staff is recommending approval, and if HARC chooses to approve this project, there's also a motion for the demolition of the 2 non-designated structures as well. And I'm happy to answer any questions regarding the project or specific conditions before we hear from the applicant who is on Zoom.
Questions?
Was the hot tub moved further from Cornet Creek, or was the patio just extended out to capture it?
The hot tub was moved back onto the patio. So it did move further away from the creek, but
The patio.
the patio then
closer to the creek.
got closer.
I
to
was
the
just, I
creek.
couldn't tell whether the hot tub necessarily moved.
The hot tub definitely moved,
Quite
which
a bit, actually,
quite a bit.
on the
It-
other side of that contour.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just the patio got much larger.
Questions?
I have a question about the front door's got a rather long window light in it. And I'm wondering if that would be subject to a 1/3 bottom light, if that needs, or 2/3. that should be sill, that should be raised up, or if we allow.
It's a really good question. I think you could interpret it different ways. You could say, well, if you combined all the glass on the door, it's still not 2/3 light. But yes, the intent is to mitigate light spill, so that could be an added condition.
Good point. My only question was, I don't see these 15 and I didn't keep my old notes, but I remember our discussion on the exterior stairs. Maybe that was the previous meeting, 2 meetings ago, where they were going to, what was that on the east side? Snug them up to the building and perhaps narrow them. Anybody else remember this?
Yeah.
Okay, but was that 2 meetings ago and did they do it or is it just not captured here? I'm just asking the question. Do you? remember that?
I do not remember that conversation.
We can hear from the applicant
Okay.
and they can tell us what,
Okay.
how much they hooked them or narrowed them and so, thank you.
Yeah.
So, all right, well, our applicant is virtually online, so if you want to share your screen, Stephanie, we see you out there.
Yes, thank you. Hi, everybody. Thank you, Erica, for the presentation. That was great. Okay, so let me, I'll go over a little bit of, so you can see the house. So I'll mention 2 things that you spoke about specifically. One was in regards to the hot tub. So in general, one of the main concerns on the last presentation was that the stairs actually were perpendicular, and Erica showed them on her slide. So now it actually goes straight. So it doesn't, so they're much, I mean, it's a different configuration that it's more, it's part of the request and it was part of the conditions. I believe that was a conversation that we had about the stairs. Then in regards to the hot tub specifically, if we go to the site plan, we did push it back dramatically. It was, I believe, about 2 feet away from the 5-foot setback. Right now, we didn't even measure it, but I believe it might be about 12. We still have a huge amount of green space. So that's why and this is the other thing, since one of the conditions was to reduce the second level deck, we increased this a little bit. We increased this deck more in order to accommodate that, but everything still very much decreased. So it was just to line it up. If we are able to leave the second level deck where it's at right now, which is not that big, we can definitely reduce the first level deck without an issue if that helps. So if we're looking here, so let me show you the floor plans. I'm addressing specifically what you talked about, but I'll go over the project as well. So we have the basement over here. We have the covered terrace here with the spa. And again, from this point to here, we'll probably have, I don't know, maybe over 20 feet, maybe about 22. And then the second level deck actually lines up exactly with the first level. And it was dramatically reduced as well. But since we lined it up, the lower one increased. Personally, if we could reduce the first level deck without decreasing the second level deck, that would be great. Then in general, as Erica mentioned, we changed dramatically the mass and volume of the project. And really I have to be honest, Erica did an amazing job working with us and explaining a lot of the things that, for me were a bit hard to understand. So we did change that dramatically. Everything really lines up nicely. We have all the roof lines and everything at the pitch that it's more, it goes along with the regulations and the style of the homes. I read the public comment. I understand the idea about the issue about the garage being entering from the alley. It's actually a request from Public Works. We actually wanted to enter the garage from Davis and we were not allowed, so we had to place it on the alley. So let me just go through it just a little bit. In the site plan, everything was changed according to what was requested. As we said, we have the straight entry. It's a very straightforward house. We have everything that was requested as well for the alley, along with the bicycle parking, the trash storage, everything that's on that side. Here in the landscape plan, you can see that we really have a lot of green area and open space. Here, of course, you see the streetscape and the alley and 577 that was approved already on the last meeting. We have over here the demo plan, and we're happy to say that we, as you know, this house belonged to Judy that had lived there for a very long time. And she managed actually to find somebody when the house is actually going to get moved. It's not going to be demolished. So we are working with Erica to try to, so they're trying to move it hopefully before the winter. So we're working with staff to trying to get that done so the house can be used. So they're moving the house to Montrose and they're using it. So we're very happy about that. This is a construction mitigation plan. Here we have all the areas, the floor plans we went through. You see, sorry, I don't know why it's taking a little bit of time to load the plans. Now it's a very clean configuration, very straightforward. We don't have any skylight in this project. And here we have the elevations. All the different windows and everything were treated according to what was discussed. And here we have the materials for the house, which is we're using a dark wood. And again, very, very straightforward palette. So we have the color elevations where you can see the dark wood along with the steel beams to create some interest. And the lighting plan as well. Again, very simple, very subtle. And I'm here to answer any questions that you might have.
Okay, well, thank you for covering all that. Questions? I just have the one, you heard me, Stephanie, bring up that stairwell. Maybe it was the previous one on I think it's on that north elevation, that there was like a foot or 18 inches gap between it and the house. Did you snug that up the house?
That wasn't my project. That was the project that went before me. That was actually Tommy Hines' project. Now I remember what you were saying.
Really?
Yes, you're thinking of a project
Okay.
on Willow.
Thank you. Glad to see you, woman.
But it was the same meeting though. It was the same meeting. Now I remember.
That makes me feel a little better. Okay. So,
And I was recused, so I don't remember.
never mind.
Fixed it.
On the other project, they fixed it? That's good. So, okay, so any discussion? Well, first of all, public opinion, let's get the public comment. And we have some members of the public here and we have a letter. Would anybody in the public like to speak? If so, electronically, raise your hand. I don't see the author of yesterday's letter. Well, going once, twice, okay, then no public comment. We will go ahead and deliberate. Any discussion?
I'm just wondering. That stair that goes to that trash storage out there. Couldn't that actually would be access to the garage?
Let's see. Yeah,
On the bottom right.
so the trash bin goes away into the garage. I mean,
Stairway.
excuse me, the stairway. Huh,
I don't know how it works with the plan, but.
Access, you'd have to access it from a ladder. Something temporary, because they're on different levels.
Oh,
Garage is low, mechanical's high. There's not room in the garage. You can't put the stair in the garage, not room.
I wonder could it just, that space just be.
Or just- Sure, I mean,
What's that? Ah, never mind.
okay, well,
done, done. It's floodplain.
the public letter spoke to it and now we know that it can't functionally be done, so. I hope they understand. Okay, any other deliberation?
You want to have a concern with the long skinny window in the front door? I'm just throwing it out there. I'm not sure how concerned I am about it, but
I'm glad you brought it up, because in that elevation, it's a little hard to catch, because the windows are, the glazing is typically blue and that glazing is
called
not.
shadow there.
Well, at any rate. So you can argue either way. I think the argument that the glazing is still a third maybe works for me
In total, yeah.
in total.
It's less than.
We've done doors where there are small pieces of glazing below that third line, but overall it's. I think the overall composition complies.
Well, thanks for bringing it up.
Yes.
We're okay.
to me, it just overall is a pretty dramatic change. Everything's sort of scaled down, simplified. It's still a very modern building, but I think it sort of checks all the boxes as evidenced by the staff review. I don't have any additional.
I have a similar thing as Matt did, just that extra piece of concrete coming off the bottom stairs, looks like it would go almost to the road or to the sidewalk, just really seems to extend the footprint of that stairs very, very far. With not breaking it up with like a paver with some grass in between, not kind of make it not look so large. It's on 1.8, 1.2. It's view number 2.
And look at a 100 skin plan.
Yeah.
Were you just talking about that last piece of concrete that sort of is the sidewalk
That's
to
the
the
sidewalk.
It just seems like it really makes that whole stairwell. It's an extension of that. It just seems excessive.
do they have a landscape plan up here?
They have to be able to get from the end of the stairs to the sidewalk.
Yeah.
You mean with more of a,
Just to break it up,
Maybe.
like what we do with driveways.
not so long and linear?
Favors in the landscape. I don't can't remember what the landscape plan looks like right now, but
It's up on the screen.
100.1.
Show pavers, right?
I don't know if I can I speak at, or no?
No, sorry, Stephanie, unless it's something new, we can come back to it. I'll let
I
you know.
was gonna say that I'll be, this particular walkway, I'd be happy to break it up in stepstones. I don't mind
Right.
that.
Okay, thank you. We're still deliberating here, so,
Yeah, yes, sorry.
okay, well, I'm good with Drew's suggestion. I mean, I think it makes it more compliant. Right?
Sure.
Like, yes,
Yeah.
okay,
The only thing I wanted to bring up, if it's my turn, was condition number 1 to reduce the size of the first level patio, which I'm sympathetic with, but it does align with the patio above. Doesn't,
When I scaled it, it didn't, maybe I measured it incorrectly. It seemed like above was 14, the second level was 14 feet, and in the plans, it was showing the patio as 17 feet, but I could have, what?
One end.
Yeah, at the longest end.
Oh,
Outside.
it's because the wall is behind, it's further back, the
Okay.
wall.
Stephanie, we're sorry, we're in deliberation, we're not allowed to
Just to explain.
appreciate, I think I know where you're headed, but. So what do we want to do with this?
I'm not interested in pulling the lower further than the upper.
Right,
so that maybe perhaps reduce the size if necessary, so they align.
Just take it straight across.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm talking about vertically.
No, I mean, yeah, but see, lower patio tapers out. The columns,
I think the upper one does too.
it does.
Yeah,
So I
looks like
think what Stephanie was saying is that the first level starts in further, so it is larger in size, but it does align with the second level.
At the
At-
the
So
east.
Yes.
perimeter, it
Ah.
aligns.
Yes,
Okay, yeah.
it looks
columns.
larger on the plans, but on the perimeter, it does align.
So I would agree with Stacy that it doesn't make sense to then require that the lower come in. So in my opinion, it's either fine as is, or we ask for the
Or-
upper or in.
A reduction in both. Yeah,
So as is or reduction in both? Draw poll.
I think, well. If we're taking,
I mean,
they've already pulled back considerably from Cornet Creek. I think they've made a big enough move
so it's
in
as
that
is,
regard, so I think it's as is.
As if,
as is. Fine with me.
And so if it's as is, we're gonna strike one.
Yes.
We're gonna add to use pavers instead of concrete on that sidewalk.
Yeah, however you wanna handle that.
Okay, any other discussion? Are we ready for a motion?
I'm good.
Hey, who would like to make it? You see, you're writing notes. Do you want to do it or?
I'm sure. I'd like to make a motion. I move to approve the small scale new construction at 160 North Davis, lot AR, block 10, West Telluride Edition, based on the findings in the staff memo dated September 20, 2023, and with the following conditions. We're going to strike number 1. Number 2 and 3 as stated, and we're going to add number 4. Replace the monolithic concrete walkway between the property line and the sidewalk with a more organic stepstone configuration. That work for everybody? This motion is based on evidence and testimony provided at a public hearing on September 20, 2023, with notices such hearings provided as required by the Telluride Land Use Code. Revised plans incorporating the conditions of approval shall be submitted within 60 days of this approval, or this approval becomes null and void. Unless otherwise indicated, the revised drawings submitted for a certificate of appropriateness must be a complete set, with any changes to the drawings clouded and labeled. Any changes to drawings beyond the conditions of approval may result in more than one submittal being required.
I'll second that.
You need to cite a guideline for number 4.
Do we need to do that as a friendly amendment or just add it?
Just add it.
Just add it. I'll look. Unless you have one ready. Don't have one ready.
Where is that?
I think it's in the. This is a garages. Materials, let's turn up that one. Oh, I don't.
Under parking, I think.
Hmm.
17? It really doesn't seem to.
There you go.
17C2.
You ready? 17C2.
Is there like a R, is there?
Yeah,
Either.
EWT.
17C2.
Thank you.
Thank you, Stacy.
Okay, we have a motion. We have clarification second. And so
Kieran, yes.
Matt, yes.
Stacy, yes.
Mark, yes.
Bob, yes.
Okay, and then we have the motion for demolition.
I got that if you want it. I move to approve the demolition of two non-designated structures outside THLD located at 160 North Davis. AR Block 10, West Hilliard Edition with the following finding. Number one is stated and with the following conditions. Number 1 and 2 is stated. This motion is based on evidence and testimony provided at a public hearing held on September 20th, 2023, with notice of such hearing provided as required by the Telluride Land Use Code.
Matt will second.
Kieran, yes.
Matt, yes.
Stacy, yes.
Mark, yes.
Bob, yes.
Okay, and just to, for the record, to acknowledge on the third public item, it has been withdrawn by the applicant. No further action required. Thus ends our mission tonight, unless there's any other staff discussion.
Any
We will
announcements?
adjourn 6:14 PM.
It's a record, isn't it?
I think so.
Thank you, everybody.
Thanks, Stephanie.
You.
Good luck.